There is an interesting thing about the era we live in. The world has never been as connected as it is today, but people have also never felt so lonely. You might have hundreds of people in your contact list, thousands of followers on social media, but when you truly need someone to talk to, you realize your circle is smaller than you imagined. And then, sometimes you wonder, why do I have fewer friends than others? What does that really say about me? This is a question many people carry in silence, those who always feel slightly different from the noisy rhythm of connection out there. But the truth is, having fewer friends is not a sign of deficiency. It speaks volumes about your journey, your depth, the way you view the world and the things you have been through. The Stoic believes that a person's worth does not lie in the number of relationships they possess, but in the degree to which they understand and live authentically with themselves. Seneca once wrote that, "You are truly rich when you know enough." This applies not only to possessions, but also to relationships. Therefore, if you have fewer friends, don't immediately think that it is a sign of solitude or social failure. In many cases, it reflects selectivity, maturity, and even an inner strength that you haven't yet recognized. Today, we will delve into 7 profound reasons that explain why many people have fewer friends, and why that is sometimes a sign of wisdom, self-control, and a journey quietly developing within you. If you find this content helpful, please leave a like and subscribe so the video can reach more people. Now, let's move on to the first reason. 1. The nature of introversion. There is a truth that few people state directly. Not everyone feels comfortable in crowded rooms, small talk, or noisy groups of friends. Some people, perhaps you, possess a different kind of energy, more subdued, quieter, but deeper. Introversion is not a social barrier. It is a psychological structure, a rhythm of life where you feel safest and most authentic. And sometimes, that very stillness is a form of quiet strength, the ability to observe, understand, and feel deeper than what others merely skim over. Introverted people do not lack the ability to connect. They just dislike superficial connections. They observe before they speak, listen before they share, and feel before taking another step into someone's life. This makes them slow to form relationships, but once they do connect, those relationships are usually more lasting. Marcus Aurelius once reminded us that we do not need to try to impress anyone. The only thing we can control is the authenticity of our words and actions. For introverts, this is almost a natural instinct. In psychology, introverts tend to process information more deeply, which also makes them quickly recognize pretense, value conflicts, or conversations that don't truly hold meaning. And the more sensitive a person is to superficiality, the more they narrow their circle, not because they can't make friends, but because the majority of connections out there are not authentic enough to reach them. Introverts often view friendship as a garden that needs daily care. Therefore, they do not chase quantity, but dedicate time to nurturing truly worthwhile relationships. So if you have fewer friends because you are introverted, that is completely normal. You are not lonely. You are just not looking for noise. You are not lost. You are just waiting for people who share your rhythm. Often, just one suitable person is enough to make life warmer than a crowded room. 2. When trust has been broken. Not everyone with few friends is unapproachable. Many people withdraw because they once placed their trust in the wrong hands, and the price paid was not just sadness, but a shift in how they view the world. Trust, once violated, makes you more cautious. But if the fear of repeating the past takes over your mind, you might inadvertently build walls higher than necessary. You become wary of new people, and sometimes withdraw before someone has a chance to get close. This is natural. But the crucial thing is not to let old pain dictate all future relationships. When trust is broken, The most important thing is not to build a defensive wall, but to maintain balance, understanding that people change, circumstances change, but you can always choose to react with steadfastness. That is the Stoic spirit. Looking directly at reality without pessimism, opening your heart deliberately instead of letting emotions lead. You can rebuild trust through simple things. Initially, through small activities where people connect through action before words. For instance, you could join a running group where everyone shares the same exercise habit and motivation for health. Or a book club where you meet people interested in similar things. Or participate in local volunteer activities, small but meaningful efforts. In places like these, you rarely encounter pretense. You meet people who are giving their best, and that very thing helps you believe in humanity again. Rebuilding trust does not start with finding the right people, but with understanding yourself clearly. Understanding what hurt you, what makes you wary, and what makes a relationship safe. Sometimes just daring to speak your true feelings or listening to someone with composure will close the gap. So, if you have few friends because you lost trust, that doesn't mean you are weak. It shows you have learned your lesson. And true maturity lies in the ability to protect your heart while still leaving it open enough for something good to enter. That is the state of balance that a strong mind strives for. 3. You value quality over quantity. As you mature, you begin to realize a simple yet sharp truth. Not everyone close provides a sense of safety. Not everyone who talks to you is authentic enough for you to open up. And not everyone who appears in your life deserves to stay. That leads you to a natural choice. Fewer, high-quality friends are better than many empty connections. You are no longer interested in conversations kept alive by courtesy. You no longer want to be in groups where your presence is nothing more than a shadow, and you no longer want to maintain relationships that only exhaust your heart. In reality, people who have fewer, high-quality friends often possess 3 characteristics. 1. They are sensitive to pretense. 2. They value sincerity and stability. 3. They do not seek validation from the crowd. And the third point is the most crucial piece. When you do not need the approval of many people, you are not drawn into the race to broaden your circle of friends. You make friends to live authentically, not to prove anything. Stoic philosophy shares this spirit. Seneca once wrote that, "A true friend is rarer than you think, and that is why we must cherish them." The Stoic is not concerned with how many people know them. They are concerned with how many people they can trust, and how many people make them a better version of themselves. When you choose quality over quantity, your circle naturally shrinks. But the interesting thing is, you feel more at peace. No more relationships dragging your energy down. No more meetings just to maintain courtesy. No more connections forcing you to perform. Fewer friends is not a deficit. It is selectivity. You don't need many people around. You only need the right people. And sometimes, just one sincere friendship is enough to bring the value that an entire large group could never give you. 4. You have clear boundaries. Imagine your mind as a house. Not everyone who knocks on the door is allowed inside, and not everyone who enters is allowed to go into any room they wish. A house without a door, without locks, or without clear limits will quickly become chaotic. Your life is the same. And the person who has fewer friends is not necessarily difficult, but they know how to protect their inner space. A boundary is not a wall. It is a deliberate door. It does not close to isolate you from the world, but to protect important things: your energy, your peace, your self-respect, and the values you have worked hard to build. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once emphasized that not everyone is worthy of your time and your peace. A person who understands this will not easily allow others to violate, manipulate, or take advantage of them. Therefore, they often have fewer friends, but everyone in that circle is truly trustworthy. Clear boundaries make you different in the eyes of others. Those accustomed to being indulged will feel annoyed. Those accustomed to being prioritized will find you cold. Those accustomed to stepping over other people's limits will not like you. And that very thing is the most powerful natural filter. It pushes away from your life those who only seek ease and retains those who respect you appropriately. An interesting thing happens when you have clear boundaries. Your relationships become fewer but higher in quality, because those who accept your boundaries are precisely those who see value in you, not the benefit they can take away. Fewer friends is not a lack of connection. It is a sign of a person who has understood that peace is non-negotiable and kindness must have conditions. You are not closed off. You just don't allow anyone to put a low price on your presence. And in an intrusive world like today's, boundaries are the highest form of self-respect. 6. You're changing, and so are your relationships. There are phases in life where you realize you no longer belong in places that used to feel very familiar. Conversations that once made you laugh now feel dull. Friends who were once by your side no longer understand you. No one has done anything wrong, it's just that you are changing, while some relationships around you remain still. Not everyone develops at the same pace. Your goals change, your values change. The way you view the world changes, and relationships that are not on the same frequency naturally drift to the background. Many people feel guilty when this happens. They think they are indifferent, ungrateful, or bad at keeping friends. But the truth is, growth always has its price, and one of those prices is having to leave circles that are no longer suitable. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that, "If anything no longer serves your progress, have the courage to walk away." That phrase does not advise you to be cold, but to live authentically with reality. Not every relationship is born to accompany you forever. Some people only appear for a brief chapter, and when the lesson is over, they must continue their journey. When you mature in your thinking, you become less interested in conversations revolving around drama, comparison, or one-upmanship. You want sincerity, peace, and meaningful dialogue. Not everyone is ready to go there with you, and that is completely normal. The fact that you have fewer friends is not a sign that you are difficult to get along with, but a sign that your life rhythm has changed. You are not leaving anyone behind. You just cannot shrink yourself to fit the old versions of yourself. One day, you will meet new people, those who are in the chapter you are currently writing, and you will realize, walking away is not losing. Walking away is making space for more mature connections to enter. 6. You have emotional independence. There is a form of strength that the modern world rarely talks about, the strength of a person who does not need the crowd to feel complete. While many people seek validation through nods of approval, compliments, or the attention of others, you walk with your own rhythm, calmly, quietly, and without trying to be anything other than yourself. Emotional independence is not coldness or detachment. It is simply the ability to stand firm without needing anyone to help you balance. It is when your joy does not come from being accepted, and your sadness does not instantly turn into a call for someone to comfort you. You can self-regulate to resonate with yourself, and this makes your social circle smaller, but more robust. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said that no one can make you feel insecure unless you give them that power. The emotionally independent person understands this deeply. They do not allow their mood to be dragged up and down by the momentary reactions of others. They do not seek applause as a source of energy. They choose inner stability, something no one can take away. This makes them hard to understand in the eyes of those accustomed to living by external validation. They do not react as predicted. They are not influenced by rumors, comparisons, or the impulsive emotions of others. But that very unpredictability makes them a reliable friend, because they do not shift with the winds of emotion. When you are emotionally independent, you will realize that many relationships exist solely because of dependency. And when you are no longer dependent, those relationships naturally fall away. Not because you pushed them away, but because you are no longer playing the role of support system for things that should not have relied on you in the first place. Fewer friends is not due to being dry or lacking emotion. On the contrary, it is a sign that you have found your own anchor within. And a person who finds an inner anchor will never accept connections that shake the peace they worked so long to build. 7. You're rebuilding your life. There are phases when you suddenly become quieter, no longer wanting to appear in crowded places, no longer having energy for shallow conversations, no longer interested in things that once made you happy. This is not because you are changing negatively, but because you are going through a crucial process, rebuilding yourself. When a person begins to heal, set new goals, or redefine the path of their life, they naturally retract their energy like an arrow preparing to shoot forward. You need stillness to see yourself clearly. You need space to sort out what to carry with you and what to leave behind that weighs you down. And during that time, very few relationships can walk alongside you. The Stoics understand this more than anyone. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that the mind needs space to become strong. When you withdraw from the crowd, you are not isolating yourself. You are creating a retreat to prepare for a greater advance. You are learning how to manage your energy, learning how to listen to yourself, learning how to see what truly matters to you, things that surrounding noise often obscures. People who are not in this phase may not understand you. They see you as distant, busy, or less communicative. But the truth is, you are dedicating your entire energy to building a new version of yourself, and not everyone has a role in that journey. The interesting thing is, the more you focus on inner strength, the less you need superficial connections. You don't look for friends to fill emptiness. You look for companions when your mind is already steady. And that is why your circle shrinks, but its quality increases. Fewer friends is not a sign of isolation. It is proof that you are prioritizing the right thing. A life rebuilt with awareness, not according to the expectations of others. And when you emerge from this phase, stronger, clearer, more composed, the right relationships will find you as if they have always belonged to this new chapter. When you look back at the entire journey, you will see that having fewer friends has never reflected your worth. It reflects your direction. It shows that you are living more selectively, more maturely, and more honestly with yourself. Not everyone dares to step away from old relationships, maintain clear boundaries, or rebuild their life from the roots. But you have, and that is what makes the difference. In Stoic philosophy, people do not measure the quality of life by the number of people they know, but by the degree of peace they maintain amidst the chaos of the world. That peace comes when you know what is worthy of entering your life and what is not. Having fewer friends does not diminish you. It only proves that you no longer live to be accepted. You live to be authentic. You no longer chase the crowd. You choose the path that fits your rhythm. You no longer need a large circle. You need the right circle. And then, one day, when you look around and see just a few people standing beside you, you will understand. That is not a lack, but completeness. The completeness of deep, lasting, and kind connections. If these insights helped you see your own journey more clearly, please take a second to support the channel. A like and subscribing can help us grow, creating more valuable content. Thank you for being here, and see you in the next videos.